So Fiverr just announced it plans to fire 30% of its workforce, over 250 people. But why are they doing this? Nope, it's not the financials. You guessed it. They want to become an AI-first company. And guys, this is nothing new. You're seeing this all across the industry. Today, we have to get into it. I want to cover exactly who's being fired, why they're being fired, and then lastly, how to survive. Because these companies all across the board, Fiverr in this case, plans to streamline their operations, make things more efficient. They want to reduce the bureaucracy and all these middle management layers, and they're going to reinvest all the savings into AI automations and hiring native AI talent. So you might be asking yourself, Mark, I haven't heard of Fiverr before. Who is Fiverr? Fiverr is essentially the #1 marketplace for finding freelance labor. So if you want to hire a graphic designer or someone to create funnels or automations, you go to Fiverr. And I've used Fiverr in the past. I think Fiverr is a solid company. I found some great work on Fiverr. I actually have an affiliate code for Fiverr. I'll put that down in the comments below. So if you're looking for someone to solve a problem for you on the low and independent contractor, I'll put a link below to that so you can get a little bit of savings on your first order. At any rate, Fiverr, big company, solid company, firing a bunch of their people. And again, you got to ask, why are they doing this? Or is it just India? I don't think so, guys, because we're seeing company after company after company making this move, laying off hundreds, if not thousands of people. And I think that the CEO, Micha Kaufman, has a really interesting vision. I'm going to quote Micha here. Micha says, we need to return to startup mode. We need to accelerate this mode of work. We can and should dream bigger and build faster, using this moment to build what's next for Fiverr on a modern, clean, AI-focused infrastructure from the ground up. Guys, this is the future of business. This is the future of business. And if you own or operate your own business, you've got to be thinking about how can we use AI better, smarter, more efficiently. Let's try, let's fail, let's learn, let's innovate, let's look at patterns from our competitors and see what's working there. You have to be doing this. And if you're an employee, you need to be thinking about the same thing. You need to be thinking like an owner founder, because guys, we're kind of moving into this world where you're not going to work at the same company for the next 20, 30 years. I just don't see that happening. Companies are going to be restructuring, going under, rising up. So you need to make yourself relevant. And how do you do this? Well, it's by adapting these tools and learning how to solve interesting problems. Learn how to solve new and interesting problems. I think that it's so crucial. And I do want to highlight, guys, that this is not just a Fiverr issue. I covered in a video a few weeks ago, I'll post a link to it here. Salesforce just fired 45% of its customer service staff. And then it followed that up by saying, well, we're gonna start firing a bunch of our middle management and leadership and at our main branch in Washington. Or in Seattle rather. So, I mean, listen, there is Seattle and San Francisco. So they're firing people like crazy, but they're not alone. Workday just fired 1,750 people. Indeed fired 1,300. Chegg, 22% of its workforce. I recorded another video, I'll post it here. You look at the entire way that people are finding jobs and getting hired and how companies are looking for talent. It's changed so much. McDonald's, and again, I'll post a link to it here, has used AI to screen 64 million job applicants. Are you an employer? Are you using AI to screen? Are you using AI to find better labor? If not, you're falling behind. Are you on the job hunt? Are you concerned about where the job market is going? Do you know how to stand out in these AI platforms? It's probably important. And again, at the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you some examples on how I'm trying to remain relevant myself and things that I'm seeing in the market that are working, and reading articles and consuming just tons of materials, and again, going to conferences, seeing what's working. So I'll share those tips at the end. If you want to stick around, make sure you subscribe and like, because I'm here to help you remain relevant, respected, financially free during this AI revolution, as I would call it. Because as we can see from these major organizations, people are getting laid off like crazy. Laid off like crazy. And what I also want to iterate here is that this is not a desperation move from Fiverr. I mean, Fiverr financially is actually doing great. In Q2, their revenue was 108 million, which was nearly a 15% year-over-year increase. So they're doing all right. And in fact, they announced that they expect these AI changes to increase their bottom line, their EBITDA, by about 25%. Or to get their EBITDA to 25% of revenue. So I mean, this is it's a really solid number. Again, that's a projection, so maybe they won't get there, but that's what their target is, that's what they expect. And what was also interesting for all my investors out there, their stock took a hit immediately. As soon as the announcement, the letter came out, their stock just went straight down. I saw some posts on X, people were like, oh, serves you right, you're firing people for robots, blah, blah, blah. The stock just went right back up. It went right back up. And I just think it's unreasonable for us to expect that big companies aren't going to use these AI tools, guys. They're going to be using them. I mean, one of the things that I look at in companies and people, influencers, news, politicians is, what is your motive? What is your motivation? And one of the reasons I like corporations and businesses is their motivation is EBITDA, it's profit, it's how much money can we make? So you know what their motivation is. Don't be surprised when a corporation is laying off staff, or even you, when they're laying you off because they want to generate more income. It's just, they want to be more efficient, they want to generate more EBITDA, more profit, more revenue, bigger exit. Again, trying to get clear on exactly what they're trying to accomplish is important, but you got to understand that the efficiency of the organization is going to come before the individual employee, generally speaking, especially in larger companies. So let's talk about that. Who's impacted? Where, as a leader, what are the positions that we're seeing that are being laid off? And as an employee, where are the positions that you can, that are most at risk? And I've talked about this in the past. It seems quite frequently that it's the bottom rung. It's the entry level. College graduates can't find jobs. That is just a staggering fact. College graduate unemployment rate has completely spiked over the past year. I've recorded an entire video on that. I'll post a link to it here. But what's interesting to me about what's happening at Fiverr is that, they're implementing more layoffs at the middle management bureaucracy layer. And their idea is we're going to flatten out the organizational structure and we're going to use AI to fill in the gaps. Because you need your leadership, your strategy, you need your guys that know what they're doing, your foot soldiers that are executing. You might not necessarily need the micromanager sitting there, checking in to make sure everything's done. You're going to need some people to lead these teams, but AI just can manage so much of that, and it can create such efficient reports. One of the organizations that I'm working with, large SaaS organization, we're up to about 3.5 million in ARR, trying to get it to 10 million ARR by next year. That's kind of our mission here. But basically all the reports, as long as we can make sure that the team is inputting their information correctly, as long as we have good first-party data, the reports are all automated. Even though we're using a bunch of different softwares, HubSpot's kind of our core, but we're using a bunch of different softwares, all reporting, automating into HubSpot. So, you don't necessarily need the middle manager double checking on everything. You can kind of flatten it out. And again, that's what we're seeing here with Fiverr. You need to think about, where am I in this organization? Am I doing high level thinking? Or am I in the middle management? Am I kind of like a bridge between, am I doing oversight? Like, where are you at? How does that role continue to remain relevant in this new world? The other thing that's, I think, interesting to me, listen, they're already using AI for coding, marketing, customer service, matching tools. Again, customer service is where Salesforce is really leaning into AI. But they also have plans, you can kind of see it here, to replace freelancer roles with AI. So in the past, where you might have hired a freelancer, it's a freelancer marketplace, guys, but you may have used a freelancer in the place in a particular role. Well, what if you could just use AI to write that email, or to generate that spreadsheet, or create that doc or slideshow, that presentation, that the funnel. So I think we're going to see more and more email carving out spots from from freelancers, quite frankly. And while not all freelancers will be impacted, a lot of, especially beginner freelancers, will definitely be impacted. If you're excellent, if you're the best in the world at what you do, you're gonna be okay, generally speaking. But if you're just trying to figure, if you're kind of like wishy-washy, you're doing like 50 different things, I don't know. I don't know where that, it seems risky to me. Regardless, what can you do? How can you survive this, right? The first of which is you have to upskill. This is not a time to get comfortable. It's just not. I don't care if you're 20, I don't care if you're 30, you're out of college, I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60. If you want to remain relevant in the workplace, you have to upskill. Prompts, AI integrations, knowing how to, like how AI kind of interconnects everything. I think this is something that is perhaps not widely understood as of yet, but I think is going to become kind of like a core tenet when it comes to organizational structures here over the next decade, is knowing how to execute AI within your organization. Let me explain what I mean. The AI is going to give, so your outputs from AI are only as good as your inputs. Part of those inputs are the prompts. How good are you at asking AI the right thing to get the best answer? That's part of it. But the other part of it is how good is the training and the information which is drawn into the AI model. Because at the end of the day, guys, all these LLMs are going to be pretty close. Whether you're using Grok, Perplexity, OpenAI, they're all going to be pretty close. But where your organization is going to stand out is by making sure that it's pulling in the best data from all your different sources. For example, one of the things we're doing with one of my clients is we're implementing AI call recording on all the sales calls. And that's automatically integrated into our CRM, into HubSpot. So we can easily kind of find trends, we can find what's working, we can create queries, prompts. Same thing for calendars. Okay, AI knows what's happening with your calendars. It knows the projects that are being worked on. It knows, I recorded an entire video on this from Microsoft. I'll post a link to it here, what Microsoft 360 is doing. I think or 365 is doing. I think it's very interesting. Same thing with Salesforce. Making sure that AI is able to pull the inputs from all across every part of the organization is going to be I think going to be one of the most valuable assets coming up soon. So that's something I think everybody should be focused on, is how am I being more informed from all these different sources? I mean, because like you look at your company, and I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit here, but I just want to bring this point home. Most companies are using a ton of different software to power the organization. And you just think about it in your organization. You've got this for email, for calendar, for your CRM, for calls, for note-taking, for you're using a ton of different software, for payroll, for HR. You're using a ton of different software, okay? If you're able to pull if you know that the data is good in your software, you're pulling it all into a central hub, which is informing your AI model, your AI bot, you're going to be able to get really clean input in, you're going to get a really fantastic output out, and it's going to be great for preparing for meetings and for emails. Everyone's going to be on the same page, okay? And I think that's important. So upskill, use the AI daily. Anything that you're doing, you should be asking yourself, how could AI make this better and more efficient? Don't use it, just keep iterating, keep iterating, keep iterating. I think it's also a really important time to diversify your income streams. You know, maybe 80% of your income comes from what area, but what about the other 20%? You need to have different income streams. I generate income from my newsletter, I generate income from YouTube, I generate income from a couple other side projects that I'm involved with. The main bread and butter is through this SaaS project, but I'm generating income from other places, okay? It's important that you are diversifying your income streams. This could be, you could go Gary Vee and arbitraging garage sales. Like, I don't really care what it is, but I just don't think it's a very safe idea to put all your eggs in one basket. And I know people are gonna get upset at that because it's easier just to go to one job and get one paycheck and go on home, but it's risky. Let's hedge the risk. Let's diversify the income streams, okay? And then you also wanna make sure you're diversifying your network. You're not diversifying, you're building your network. Your network is your net worth. Who you know is gonna matter a lot when things change and you're looking for interesting problems to solve. I just got back from this conference and I was not actually even looking for clients, but I networked with some guys who were doing some really cool stuff and they saw what I was doing, thought it was really cool. They say, oh, wow, you're doing that to generate that many leads? That's pretty cool. And oh, the data looks like this? Okay, well, maybe we could work together. We could do some sort of profit share. I said, cool, let's talk about it. So that, you don't know exactly where things are going to lead. Having a CRM, being organized, building your network is going to be, I think, just absolutely vital as we move into this next phase. So anyway, just to kind of wrap this whole thing up, guys, Fiverr is making a move towards AI. They're not the only ones. Lots of companies are doing it. In fact, every company's doing it. You need to be doing it. Whether you're a leader or you're a part of an organization, you need to be aware of this, that this is happening. I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. I'm covering all the best stuff, all the most important things that are happening in our professional world. You can go to aiupdate.ai. It's totally free. I want to serve you. I want to help you. Go to aiupdate.ai. And if you enjoyed today's video, I think you're going to find yesterday's video very interesting in how AI is skyrocketing the amount of scams that are happening. We are seeing a 456% increase in scams and their efficiency, and it's happening now. You got to be aware of what's happening so you can survive. Check out yesterday's video. I'll see you there, boys. See ya. Peace.